What's up, everybody? Justin here, and welcome back to the channel. This is part 3 where I cover some of the best-selling products of 2019 here in Michigan. So in this part 3 of this, and might be the last video on this topic for this year, I'm going to go over lures. I'm going to break it down into 2 primary categories. Your hard baits, which are those lures that are made out of plastic, wood, and wire. And then your soft plastic baits, your PVC, your Z-Man, Yamamoto, striking stuff, your soft plastics. There is going to be a couple shocking ones in here that I was very pleasantly surprised to see. And I think we're going to have to do a video or 2 this year on it during the summertime. I have not fished these particular lures in a long time, and even when I did, I hardly ever used them, so maybe I'll give them a shot. So first up, I'm going to start with our hard baits, our crankbaits, our spoons, our wire baits. This top 5 is tremendously dominated by crankbaits, and that is really due to the fact of the walleye trolling market and the custom market that we're seeing right now here on the Great Lakes as a whole. I know there's an incredible amount of salmon spoons that are sold over on the west side of the state, and quite honestly, just not able to get a solid enough picture to see where those may rank in this category of hard baits. But I would venture to guess that a few brands, Moonshine, Stinger, and Wolverine, will be right there near the top 10 hard baits sold in the state every single year, both in salmon and walleye spoons. So big shout out to those guys. They're little mom and pop companies. They deliver straight to the retailers, so kind of hard to get data on them. But let's get into this top 5. Number 5 at the bottom of this ranking is going to be a classic. The Rapala Original Floater. Can't get any more classic than that balsa minnow. It's legendary over the generations. It's kind of been tweaked and changed, to where we see it now. But it started out as a hand cart bait and has just basically spawned a mega company that's worldwide. Number 4 is actually going to be from Pure Fishing, and that is the Berkley Flicker Shad. The Berkley Flicker Shad. I know on St. Clair, that is definitely the dominant flicker bait in their brand. Other areas like the Bay and Erie, the next one on the list is going to be there. But the Berkley baits are not custom painted as often, so there's a mega variety of colors stocked from the manufacturer on those. But there are some custom painting on it. Size 7s and 9s are the primary. But on some of your smaller bodies of water on St. Clair, the 5s do play a role. Number 3 on this list, as I alluded to earlier, was the Flicker Minnow. Mainly, it's going to be the 9s and the 11s. A little bit of 7s, but mainly 9s and 11s here in Michigan. And again, it's that walleye trolling market. There's some custom painting. They have the clear, they have the chrome. They have the ghost colors, the pearl ghost that turn into those antifreeze colors for custom painters. But that is a solid number 3. Now, the first and second on this list are extremely dominant in the state as a whole, and quite honestly, are probably neck and neck or flip-flop every year just based off the bite and buying habits of you guys, the anglers. Number 2, I'm calling for this year. I don't have the full picture, but I'm pretty comfortable with saying that these guys are probably number 2, just going off of what I'm seeing on social media and what guys are buying, is the Rapala Deep Husky Jerk, size 12. Just really popular. They did have a size 14 that was released this year. Hasn't really took off too big, but guys are using it when they want the bigger profile, but the 12 is still the dominant. So the deep Rapala Husky Jerk in size 12. Number 1, hands down, is the Bandit Walleye Deep. Now, the Bandit Walleye Deep has, you know, in the state of Michigan, probably about 4 custom painters. 2 are what I would call mainstream. Domk Outdoors and JT Custom. Those 2 primarily are the baits, the brands of customs that the guys on Erie and Saginaw really pushing. I know Frank's has their own in-house guy that does theirs up there. There's a couple other ones you might see in some of the big box stores or in a lot of other smaller retailers throughout the state. Warrior and Yak also do a good job custom painting those as well. But the amount of Bandits that are sold every single season, even in some of the stock colors, is absolutely incredible. So that is it for the hard baits. Now this next grouping, the soft plastics, is probably the hardest one to definitively say this is the top 5, because there's so much buying direct in this category. So some of this I am pulling from information I know from prior years and roughly some information that I've heard from other manufacturers and from certain manufacturers that are on this list where they sit. And there is 2 that sit in this top 5 that absolutely blew me away. And I want to know if you can guess what those are down below in the comment. I was 100% shocked to even see these in the top 5, let alone in the top 10. So just pause this video, go down in the comments, you know, and give a guess. And if you're liking this video so far, you're finding any value, give it a thumbs up. Number 5 on the list, and you're going to notice a bit of a theme, exception of 1 in this top list, is the Yum Dinger. Now for soft plastics, I group together every size, you know, 3s, 4s, 5s, and 6s, just to make it easy so I'm not nitpicking. But number 5-inch is by far the most popular size in the stickworm category, so that's the bulk of the sales anyways. Number 4 is the Gary Yamamoto Senko, the original stickworm, or is it? We'll talk about more of that in just a little bit. Number 3, and this is when it gets a little crazy, is the K&E Bass Stopper Worm. You know, those pre-rigged worms that we grew up fishing, purple and white worm, you know, purple the white stripe, the wine colored, the chartreuse black stripe, the natural night crawler pattern. You know, they got the 2 and 3 hook weedless with a short little leader. Put a split shot on, a number 7 snap swivel, and you just cast it and let it sink. That was number 3 on the list, the K&E Bass Stopper, Michigan company. Really cool to see that on there. A little bit of nostalgia there. Number 2 is another one of those shockers, the Kelly's pre-rigged worm. Now, I knew K&E Bass Stopper sold a lot of products here in the state of Michigan, but what I've learned this year with this new job here, selling to all the stores all the state and seeing just people's product mix firsthand and writing orders, is that you really have a very strong K&E market from, let's say, Greenville-ish area south to Battle Creek, Kalamazoo, southwest corner of Michigan. And everything else, Kelly's seems to be really dominant. But a lot of these stores sell both equally well, so that was really cool. Again, the number 1 selling color in the Kelly's was the purple with the white stripe. And when I say it was the number 1 selling, I mean by a ton. That individual SKU was the number 1 selling soft plastic that I could actually give you hard numbers on, just by one SKU. So that was really neat. And number 1 on this list is something that we're coming up to, and that is the walleye jigging season. And a lot of this information that I am giving you on this particular one is stuff that I know from conversations that I've had with other shop owners, with rough numbers, my history of buying, and also conversations with the manufacturer and hearing what they actually ship to the state of Michigan for a 2 to 3 month bite window. And that is the Lunker City finesse fish. That little 4-inch fluke style minnow, been around forever. Tons of colors. I think we're well over 120 colors or something like that now. But yeah, Lunker City's the finesse fish is #1. So that was really interesting. Now, I want to just kind of give a little bit of a PSA kind of thing here. There's so many soft plastic manufacturers that are out there, and it's so easy for retail stores to buy direct that this category is not definitive like top 5. Manufacturers of, say, the Wyandotte worm, I think it's Viking Tackle that now owns them. I might be wrong. If I am wrong, let me know down in the comments. But I know they sell a tremendous amount of their worms. And the problem with Wyandotte worms is they don't have a set packaging size in all retail settings to say that, hey, they sell that many bags of plastic. A lot of people buy them 100-count bags or in bulk bins, you know, 1, 2, 3 at a time. But I would definitely say that the Wyandotte worm would be very, very high in the state of Michigan. There is a couple other plastics. You know, your tube baits, a lot of those are bought direct from these little manufacturers. I know Extreme Bass Tackle sells a tremendous amount. There's a company out of Indiana, starts with an S. It's escaping me at the moment, that sells a tremendous amount here in the state. Poor Boy sells a tremendous amount here in the state. So there is probably a tube brand that is near that top 10 or 15 in the state as well. But soft plastics are really unique. It's something that's easily manufactured by somebody, you know, in their basement. Point in case, you know, this is actually a custom mold of a bait that I have and an injector. I can literally sit down here in my basement and make it. So there's a lot of competition on the soft plastic side, so it's really hard to get the data on it. But from what I see, my experience and time in the business, that's what I think the top 5 is. So thank you guys for tuning in to, you know, the 3rd installment of Michigan's Best Selling. It's kind of neat, you know, going through and looking at this and dissecting the data and the information. It's something that I do for my customers on a daily basis, but majorly at this time of the year, as they start to bring in products for the new year, or they're looking at scaling back sections in their store, you know, to adjust to have the correct amount for the floor for you guys. So it was a good exercise for me to go through and do this anyways. I'm already doing it. But I thought it'd be kind of neat to share this information with you. And I want to hear down in the comments what you think. Do you agree with these top 5? Or do you have that sleeper bait that you're shocked that more people don't use? Let me know down in the comments. Be sure you like this video. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please, if you could do me a favor, hit that red subscribe button and ding the notification bell and select all. That way you get notified every time I post a video. Spring is coming up. We're going to be getting the boat back from Rose Marine. Got a couple additions going on the boat. Nothing major, just some stuff to help making videos a little bit better and some touch-up warranty stuff, but just minor stuff, nothing major. Still love my boat. Rose Marine's still taking good care of me. So, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in. And as always, check out these videos up here in the corner. Hit that round button right there to subscribe to the channel. And as always, tight lines, happy casting. We'll see you in the next video.